Welcome back. The Nkabinde Commission of Inquiry will resume hearings today with a focus on Cato Manor Police Unit dockets. Now, concerns have arisen that key dockets have not yet been provided to the panel. Let's bring in Nqobile Madlala. She's been tracking the story for us in Pretoria, but she joins us in studio this morning. Thanks for coming in, Nqobile. This is incredibly worrying, isn't it? I want to get to the fact that the evidence in chief is concluding today, but this issue, particularly as it pertains to the Cato Manor murders, in fact, the first murder in this Cato Manor case, and a missing docket is worrying, isn't it?
Very worrying. So we've got Superintendent Chonco. He's basically one of the Cato Manor members. And what we are told is that he was on the way, he was in the taxi unit, and we are told as a police officer who was working and basically looking some of the units and looking at investigations and looking at the taxi violence in KZN. He's on his way now, taking some of these suspects to court. And what happens?
And this is in what year?
This is in 2008. So he's on his way to court. He's Newzroom commissioner at the time, and he's going on his way to court. He gets a hail of bullets. They shoot at him. He then dies on site. Now, this case is one of the cases that brought the Cato Manor unit to say, well, if you're killing one of our own, we'll then do an investigation in terms of who are these people. And this is where it all starts. Now, this docket has been missing, Michelle. Nobody can sort of find it. It's the same docket that was used for the de Kock report, which got into details of what was taking place in KZN. And the question is, where is the docket? So,
and how long has it been missing for?
So it's unclear exactly when or how long it has been, but we know that the Chauke legal team have not been able to gain access of this docket, but they're not the only ones. Now, if you look in 2012, when you had some of these team of investigators that had gone to KZN at the time, they still didn't get it. We heard it from Advocate Mayema, who says he never got sight of it. In fact, he even spoke about the fact that he kept asking about it, asking Mabula. Mabula is the man that was in charge of the SAPS wing of this investigation, and they also were looking on it. And now we're hearing it from a ballistic expert, Mangana, who's also saying that basically they haven't seen this docket, and we're hearing it from Chauke's legal team, who are saying they're still looking for this docket. Now, not so long ago, we heard from the NPA saying that they are going to look for this docket so that they're able to provide it before the panel, and that's where the frustration comes from.
I suppose the question also becomes, I mean, is this a physical paper docket that we are looking for? Is there a digital copy? And it speaks to a broader issue, I suppose, in the SAPS as well, about having these paper documents and not having digitized dockets as far back as 2008. And these aren't sort of everyday cases. These are critical cases to the inner workings of police in the province.
Critical indeed, Michelle, but I want to make an example for you. So remember the case of the Gwazi Ndlovu, who was also murdered whilst he was sleeping. Now, that case itself, apparently, and we are hearing from the ballistic experts that actually that entire docket was lost as well. So even when they were looking at it in 2012, at that time, they didn't find the docket. In fact, he says that the father was the one that provided a copy of the dockets because he had gone and asked that they give him a copy of it. But the actual dockets from the SAPS they could not find. And this, of course, becomes a huge issue and a huge impediment really for the people that are working here, because how do you investigate something you have not yet seen?
Well, I mean, the critics among us will say, is it quite convenient that this and several other dockets have gone missing? We don't have a lot of time, Nqobile, so I want to get through a couple of issues with you. The one is that evidence in chief is concluding today. And then insofar as Shamila Batoy, the outgoing and now former NPA head, is concerned, where is her testimony now at the commission? Will the inquiry be hearing from the former NPA head?
So, at the moment, we know that Advocate Batoy, the NDPP, remember the former NDPP, remember she left NPA. Now this means that she's no longer part of the NPA, she is now former. So this was creating a bit of an issue, which means she now has to be represented by a complete different team because she's no longer heading the NPA. So remember when she left, she said that she just wanted to get assistance in terms of legal advice, which means that she will be coming back, but she requires this legal advice. So for her to get this legal advice, she needs an attorney. attorney, and that attorney has to have counsel that will then give her the legal advice. So now yesterday we saw some of those legal attorneys that appeared before the Nkabinde inquiry. But at the same time now you have NPA that is now representing the institution itself, the concerns of the institution. And of course, remember, all of this is about whether or not the South Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions, Director Chauke, has in fact acted accordingly. So they need to probe that. And this is where we hear NPA saying that they actually want to lead evidence, that they actually want to also get their own witnesses, and they want basically to have more details in terms of what's taking place. But now it all also goes to what is happening with regards to Chauke's legal team, because they also need to bring in an affidavit to either oppose or be for that. And we know that they've made it clear that they're opposing that.
Yeah, and as it happens with inquiries of this nature, as you say, Nqobile, this is an inquiry which is probing Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office, but several other issues in the NPA and in the police also coming to the fore. Nqobile Madlala, thanks for coming into studio.